Hello, this is Mega Retro Rocket, just updating you on this Balisong project. I know it's been a while since I posted the initial video, but I wanted to test out how it was being carried. So I carried this with me every day since I posted that video a couple months ago, and at the end of that video I had it fully polished and was ready to start bluing and finish the assembly. Well, I'm pleased to present that the assembly went very well. Quite pleased with how I used these stainless steel spacers between both the handle pieces and the blade and finished them off just with these little aluminum pop rivets. They work great at holding the handle segments in place. There's no wobble. I've been fiddling with this quite a bit and it hasn't loosened up. One thing that I would change is that this latch became quite loose over time. So I think if I tighten up the tolerances on that, it'll be pretty sticky. It'll be good. I'm still very happy with how the design came out. The brass on the corners and up along the sides kind of makes it look a bit more polished than having it open all the way down the sides. At least for my eyes. It's still quite heavy. I could have used much thinner gauge steel for these handles, and I think what I'll do in the future, maybe in a few days, is drill out a few more holes just to lighten it up. For future iterations, this was a proof of concept for others I'm planning to make for some of my friends, and I'll be using much thinner steel and also a slightly shorter blade for the handles there. Again, this was made out of a throwing knife that my friend gave me because it had broken. Broken right off at the kind of skeletal end of the handle, and so I shaved off what I could and made kind of this little trigger pull. Anyway, but the bluing, which I went into, was reasonably successful, but it could have been a little bit better. The reason I was wearing it was to see how the corrosion resistance would work. If you don't know, bluing is basically a controlled oxidation. Oxidation, usually rust, is basically where oxygen gets into the steel molecules and weakens them. With bluing, it is a controlled oxidation. It has this chemical reaction with the surface of the steel that creates a layer and that prevents other oxides, like rust, from developing. And while it worked pretty well throughout, gives us a nice blue sheen, it did rust a little bit right here, if you can see that. Right at the top of this nylon sheath that I was using just because I had it around and it reasonably fit in there, well, somewhat. So that rust kind of developed right at the top there where it was exposed. I think what I did is, since it was first time bluing, I used Scotch-Brite pad to kind of rub it in, and that may have removed some of the bluing solution that would have otherwise stayed on steel. So I think if I do it again, I'll probably polish this off, buff it to that mirror shine like I had before, and then coat it pretty thick with the bluing solution, see how it goes. So that's it for the update. Let me know if you have any comments or questions. I'd love to hear from you. Anything you have to say as I go forward into other dalliances in developing these Balisongs for my friends. I'll post videos when I can. Thanks so much.